Hello guys, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Guys, next, what's happening? Dalton's atomic theory.
Sir, when do we have a subjective test?
Uh, this week Saturday. This week Saturday we have test.
Okay.
So guys, listen about Dalton's atomic theory. You know, John Dalton is only given first milestone to the inner structure of atom. His theory is put forward in 1808. Further means John Dalton given the initiation to detail about to give detail about the inner structure of atom. But however, according to John Dalton, he given some postulates about atomic theory. So according to John Dalton, atom is extremely small indivisible particle, and atoms of one element having same mass, shape, and size. Don't write, later I will give notes. Atom is smallest particle, indivisible particle. And atoms of same element having same molecular mass, same shape, and same volume also, size. Atom of same element, atoms of same elements having same size, shape, and mass. The next postulate is atoms of different element having different size and shape and mass also. Atoms of different elements having different size, shape, and mass.
Sir, should we copy this down?
No, later I will give notes, then write. Next point is, see
Sir,
here atoms of, tell me.
Sir, instead we could write vice versa in second postulate only, sir.
Second postulate?
We could write at the last and vice versa instead of writing the third postulate separately.
Separately, no, how can you write vice versa? Don't write like. See, at next point is, it is a postulate. Whatever the postulate he given in theory, we have to give that all. You don't write like vice versa. Okay. Next point is, atoms of same element or different elements combines, it forms a molecule. We know that. But he is saying compound atom. Instead of molecule, Dalton said it is a compound molecule. So atoms of same element or different elements combines, forms compound atom. Compound atom means nowadays we are calling it is a molecule. Yes. And next point is here atoms of same elements give combines and it gives two or more compound. Already that point we studied in law of constant. No, law of multiple proportion we studied. See, atoms of two different elements combines, it forms two or more compounds and they bear a simple ratio to one another. That is only given by John Dalton. That's a law of multiple proportion we studied. That's law of multiple proportion. And next point is.
So we don't have to write these, right?
No, you have to write. Later I'll give that point. So whatever I said in law of multiple proportion is given by the scientist Dalton only. So atoms of two different elements, carbon and oxygen, it combines and forms CO and CO2. They bear a simple ratio to one another. So 16, these are same. 16 is to 32. So 1 is to 2. So that law is given by Dalton only. Okay, next point is, atom is smallest particle and which take part in a chemical reaction. So atom is the smallest particle, okay, fine. And even it is also involved in a chemical reaction. So that's almost correct point only. Atom is smallest particle.
So,
Tell me.
excuse me, sir. I have a doubt in law of multiple proportions. So I don't understand what is the usage of finding constant proportions between the molecules of the same element.
So this law is before giving laws, we don't have about molecular formulas also because we don't know what is the element also accurate properly. What are the compound it forms, so why it forms sound, why it forms compound, this and all interactions between the molecules they don't know. Just they know some elements are reacting, some elements are not reacting. Suppose one element is there, it reacting. Suppose a simple example only, you see carbon and monoxide and carbon dioxide I'm taking. So this means these both are reactive element first of all. And this always combination between carbon and oxygen always is simple multiple proportion. That means suppose carbon is forming CO and CO2 here means 1:2 ratio. And it's not possible CO3, but according to that rule, may be possible to form 1:3 also.
No, but
not
1:2
fraction.
1:2 is the ratio of the oxygen atom presence.
Oxygens, ratio of oxygens.
So the main motive of this law is that the carbon is always constant in the molecule, any molecule it makes.
Not a constant, but their composition must be simple ratio.
Okay, it should be simple ratio.
Simple ratio,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's not correct. If you go for some compounds, there it's not a simple
Yes, exactly.
proportion. But
Yeah.
the beginning of this chemistry, while giving beginning of the chemistry, they discussed about simple compound. They didn't talk about macromolecules. If you see in macromolecules, their carbons are maintaining 24, hydrogens maybe 199, oxygens are 77. So it's we shouldn't tell it is a simple fraction. 24:192:77. It is not a simple ratio. Simple ratio means like 1:2, 2:3,
Yes, sir. Yes,
4:3,
sir, got it.
those. But
Yes.
according to this scientist Dalton's theory, it is a simple ratio. It is able to explain simple molecule like CO, CO2, SO2, SO3. But if complex molecules, it is not applicable. Okay, this is only Dalton's rule. And next one is last point. Atom is neither created nor destroyed. That is the last point in Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, of course, it having a lot of limitations also. We'll discuss later. First, note down Dalton's atomic theory.
Are you going to rewrite these points again?
Yeah, I will
Or should
write.
we copy this?
No, I will write on board. Note this.
We should note this down, right?
Yeah. Right, John Dalton in 1808. Put forward a theory known as Dalton's atomic theory. known as Dalton's atomic theory. The main points of this theory are: first point, so matter made up of extremely small particles or small indivisible particles.
So,
Hmm.
is there any chapter where we don't have any numericals?
Without numericals, yeah, we have chemical bonding, no numericals, and
For
we
the
have
fourth chapter.
inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry, no numericals. We have 4 chapters in organic chemistry, 0 numericals. Only theory.
That is in second part or first part?
That is in second part.
Oh.
And sir, in the chapter atomic structure, there are okay amount of numericals, or they're too much, or they're too less compared to other chapters.
Compared to other chapters, is medium only. We have a few chapters like thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is also like atomic structure only. Equilibrium chapter we have equilibrium and states of matter. It is a full of problems only.
Okay, sir.
Made up of extremely small indivisible particles. Called atoms. Second point. Atom of the same element. Atoms of the same element are identical in all respects. That is shape, size, and mass. Atoms of different elements have different masses, different mass, size, and possess different chemical properties. Next, atoms of same or different elements combines in different ratios. Combine together to form compound atom. in bracket molecule. Next point. So when atoms combine with one another, to form compound atoms, they do so in simple whole number ratio. Whole number ratio. Such as 1:1, 1:2, or 2:3. So yes, 2 points are left. Write this down. Next point. An atom is the smallest particle that take part in a chemical reaction in other words, whole atom rather than fractions of atoms take part in a chemical reaction. Last point. An atom can neither be created nor destroyed. Okay, it's completed. Hello.
Yes, completed.
Okay, next subheading: limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Hello.
Sir, I have a doubt on sixth postulate. What does fractions of atom mean?
What does fraction of?
Here it's written fractions of atoms. What does that mean?
Means their complete atom is involving in a chemical reaction, not half atom, quarter atoms, or 1/4 atom is not involving in a chemical reaction. That means fine.
Okay. Yes,
Full
sir.
atom, complete full atom is involving in a chemical reaction. Okay, next subheading: limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, listen. Mainly, it can explain the all laws of chemical combinations by mass. Means we have 5 laws, right? In this 5 laws, 4 laws it can explain, but one law, that law of combining volumes. This law was not explained by Dalton's atomic theory. So remaining 4 laws, one is law of conservation of mass, law of multiple proportion, law of constant proportion, law of reciprocal proportion. These all 4 laws are explained by mass, but it is unable to explain by law of combining volumes. Next limitation is why atoms of
Could you
different
repeat?
elements.
I couldn't hear you.
Here we have 5 laws of chemical combinations, right? Law of constant proportion,
Yes, sir. Yes,
law
sir.
of conservation of mass, law of multiple proportion, law of reciprocal proportion, and law of combining volumes. 5 laws we have. In these 5 laws, 4 laws are explained by Dalton's atomic theory. Means according to his theory, we can explain that. But law of combining volumes is not possible to explain by this theory. This is one limitation. Second limitation is, atoms of different elements having different mass, different shape, and different volumes. Why? Why atoms of different element having different masses, different shape, and different sizes? Next point is, why atoms of same element are different elements to combine and form molecule? Reason is, why atoms of different elements, suppose hydrogen, so he said carbon and oxygens are combining, forming carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Okay, but why do need to combine that carbon and oxygen and to form carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide? That is also not explained. The next point is, this is about nature of binding force. So atoms are combining and it is forming a molecule, right? So what is the nature of binding force between the atoms present in a molecule? That is also not explained by Dalton's atomic theory. So these only limitations. And okay, one more limitation is there. It does not given any distinction between the smallest particle of molecule and element. What is the ultimate particle of it? No, he didn't given any difference between the ultimate particle of molecule and ultimate particle of element. So these are the limitations.
But
of
sir,
Dalton's
did it
atomic theory.
give a difference between elements and compounds?
Element and no, that's what I'm saying. Compound means compound molecule. He did not give that difference. What is the ultimate particle in element? What is the ultimate particle in molecule? He didn't differentiate. Okay. Note down these points. It could explain the laws of chemical combination by mass, laws of chemical combination by mass, but failed to explain the law of gaseous volumes. But fail to explain law of gaseous volumes. Second one, it could not explain why atoms of different elements have different masses, size, and even valency, etc. Next, why do atoms of same or different elements why do atoms of same or different elements combine et al. To form molecules. Next one. What is the nature of binding force between atoms and molecule? Atoms and molecules for the existence of matter in 3 states. It makes no distinction between the ultimate particle of an element or a compound.
So could you explain the last point?
See, it makes no distinction. Okay. I'm missing one between the ultimate particle of an element or a compound. So here, what is ultimate particle? We are saying atom. So that is for atom. That atom is for element or compound. Here, this problem is raised because instead of compound, he used a compound atom. He used the term compound atom. Don't write me. You write up to here only. Instead of the compound, he used the term compound atom. So here, what is ultimate particle? He is saying, okay, atom. That is belongs to element or compound. That point he didn't he didn't give the difference. Here also saying atom. Here also the word using atom. That's the problem here. Actually, smallest particle of an element is atom, right? The smallest. So here, smallest particle of molecule also atom. But in between that, sorry, the smallest particle of a compound is molecule. In molecule, again atoms are present. So that difference he didn't give. So here the molecule concept is further given by the scientist Avogadro. Okay, let's completed all 5 points.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next modified Dalton's atomic theory or modern atomic theory. Somebody? So already Dalton given theory, right? In that theory, some limitations are there, and those limitations are rectified and further given new points. That's we are saying modern atomic theory. So here also we have few points. See one by one. The first point is atom is no longer considered to be indivisible. Atom is no longer considered to be indivisible. See, Dalton's atomic theory says an atom is considered to be indivisible, means it is impossible to cut the molecule. Means atom is only the ultimate particle. Any compound, any substance, that all are made up of atom only. So, but at that time, they don't know about subatomic particles, right? Electron, proton, neutrons. But these all particles are present in the atom, those only constructing the atom, right? Here, actually, the ultimate particles are electron, protons, neutrons. But according to Dalton, ultimate particle is only atom, that is only indivisible. But in modern atomic theory says, atom is, we should not consider like it is indivisible. That's what we are writing. Atom is no longer considered to be indivisible. Of course, atom is small and complex, but it is made up of some small particles. Those are electron, proton, neutron. Do you want any explanation for this point? If you don't want, I don't write it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next point is atoms of the same element may have different atomic masses.
Sir, should we write this down also?
Okay, write this point.
Okay.
Atoms of the same element may have different atomic masses. Yes. In Dalton's atomic theory, the second point is atom of the same element have same size, shape, and atomic mass also. But it's not correct. We know some isotopes, carbon having two isotopes, C12, here mass are C6H12, C6H14. So both are atoms of element carbon only. But both having different masses. But Dalton's atomic theory said atoms of same element having same atomic masses. So actually correct one is atoms of the same element may have different atomic masses also. Next one, Dalton's atomic theory said, okay, if you want to write here one example, isotopes. C6, 12, C6, 14. Chlorine 17, 35. Chlorine 17, 37. Next one. Atoms of different element may have same atomic masses. But actual Dalton's atomic theory postulate is atoms of different elements having different atomic masses, correct? That is Dalton theory. But its modified one is atoms of different elements may have different atomic masses. Sorry, same atomic masses. Example is isobar. Argon 18, atomic mass 40. Calcium atomic number 20, but mass number is 40, both having same atomic masses. Next one. The ratio in which the different atom combine with one another different atoms combine with one another may be fixed, but may not always be simple. May not always be simple. So this means Dalton atomic theory says atoms of different elements combines, it forms a compounds, and the ratio between the two atoms is a simple ratio, 1:2, 2:3, 3:4 like. But sometimes it may be correct, but most of the time this is not correct. There must be fixed values. Sometimes fractions also possible. So here example, carbon monoxide, 1:1 ratio. Carbon and hydrogen, C6H6 is possible. So this is also 1:1 ratio. In carbon dioxide, 12:32, 3:8. Here also simple ratio. But what about C12H22O11? 12:22:11. So now we shouldn't call this is a simple ratio. 12:, this one. These are simple ratios, but this is not simple ratios. We can call it as a fixed one. Next point. So atom is the smallest particle. That take part in a chemical reaction. that take part in a chemical reaction. Okay, so here needs small explanation. Though atom is made up of small particles, such as electron, proton, and neutron.
So what you're writing is the explanation of the fifth point, right?
Yeah, explanation of fifth point. Yet atom is the smallest particle. That takes part in a chemical reaction. So during the chemical reaction, the smallest particle that takes part in a chemical reaction is atom only.
Sir,
Okay, last point. Yeah, tell me.
so the fifth point,
Huh.
how can an atom be the smallest particle to take part in a chemical reaction when we clearly have anions and cations which take part in a chemical reaction too?
Yeah, see, okay, you are saying anion or cation, that is also ionic species, right? Not neutral atom, that is a charged atom. So here saying actually smallest particle of matter is fundamental particles, electron, proton, neutron. But during the chemical reaction, these protons, neutrons, electrons are not responsible for during the involvement of chemical reactions, but electrons are responsible for reactivity of an atom. So here
So
smallest
what about
particle
those
is,
other particles like positron and all that?
no, those are present in nucleus. They won't come outside. See, suppose if you write a chemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen, it forms a water. Right, it forms a water. But here, first atoms are cleaving here, cleavage, H and H. Here also oxygens are cleaved, oxygen and oxygen. Then there is a combination between hydrogens and oxygens here. Then forms H2O. But here,
Sir, but
there is no
here-
responsibility of protons and neutrons. They won't come out from the nucleus. Just by
So, but
sharing
here
of
there's an
electrons.
exchange of electrons also, right?
But the main particle is what? Electron exchange is, suppose you are saying electron exchange or electron sharing, but here complete atom is moving or not?
So ultimately it's altogether the
Atom.
atoms. Sir.
Atoms,
Okay.
yes. Not electrons. We didn't say ultimate particle is here, atom, not electron. An atom is moving towards another atom with electron, right? Then sharing of electron, it forms a chemical bond. Just by sending electron from this hydrogen to oxygen, then is it forms water? No chance.
No, sir.
It forms only O minus ion. But hydrogen is here only with a proton. But there is no chance to form a chemical bond between this. If it is donating only one electron, it gives O minus. It won't give water. Okay, note on last point. So an atom is no longer indestructible. An atom is no longer indestructible. Indestructible means not destroyable. So something substance that is not destroyable. That's meaning is indestructible. So, but here we are considering in modern atomic theory, an atom is no longer indestructible. Means atom is a destroyable. One atom is changing into another atom. That's process we are saying transmutation.
So,
tell me.
So, but there's possible that we might have a free electron, a proton, or a neutron, right?
Electron, proton, free neutron.
Yeah. We might have. So that's again a particle of an atom. So how can't we say that an atom is indestructible?
So that's what I'm saying here. An atom is indestructible means is an atom is not destroyable. No, okay, you are saying if atom destroyable means there is contain proton, neutrons, electron, right?
Yeah, so there's an existence of free electrons, protons, and neutrons.
Yeah,
there's a possibility.
Exist, but it loses its identity. Suppose I'm taking the thorium or uranium. If those participate in nuclear reaction, those uranium or thorium loses its identity completely. That element changes to another element.
So then atom is naturally not indestructible, right, sir?
See, you are getting confused. See here, electron, proton, neutrons are universal particles. So there is no difference. You suppose proton is present in carbon, proton is present in oxygen. Both are same only. There is no identity. When electron is suppose present in a carbon atom, that not have any identity. That is just electron. Same kind of electron also present in the oxygen atom also. So once thorium, suppose you take thorium element or uranium, this participated in the nuclear reaction. Completely thorium element is changes to another element, polonium. So it's lost in its identity. Suppose normal chemical reaction, you see, hydrogen and oxygen. It forms H2O. Here involved element is hydrogen and oxygen, obtained product is H2O. But here its identity is there. During the product also, its identity is there. Hydrogen is present, oxygen also present. But here where is its identity? So it completely lost its identity. So there, thorium atom is destroyed. It changed to another atom. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I have a doubt. A regular hydrogen atom, if it is ionized, we say H plus ion, sir, but actually it's just a proton.
Yeah.
An electron. Why do we say it's H plus atom?
Just that's what H plus atom. Instead of calling H plus atom, we are calling proton only. H plus is we are calling proton. H plus we are calling proton, ma.
Then why we are saying H plus ion?
Hydrogen we are saying hydrogen ion because it having only one proton, right? By gaining electron, there is a chance to form more chances to form element hydrogen only. That's what we are saying. Hydrogen ion. H is H plus. Even there is a chance for H minus.
Yes, sir.
Suppose hydrogen gain electron, it forms H minus. This is we are calling hydride ion. Okay, so write about this. Any doubt about this? An atom is no longer indestructible. So here completely one atom is transformed to another atom. So, but during normal chemical reaction, its identity is there in the product.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this means that atom can be created also, no, sir?
An atom, yeah, an atom can be created. Yes, an atom is created. That's only law of conservation of mass and energy. But it takes millions of years to convert a normal particle, electron, proton, and a neutron combination and giving product. It takes millions of years. Suppose if you see in case of hydrogen, right? One proton is there. If you add electron, it immediately gives hydrogen atom. Now hydrogen atom, you can say it is atom, but proton is elementary particle, sorry, subatomic particle. Okay, write about only transmutation definition.
No, 1 minute. You told that atom can be created, but then again you told that there's that atomic theory where it is an atom can neither be created nor destroyed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That is given by Dalton's atomic theory. That is a limitation. So that is what is modified. We are writing now modified Dalton's atomic theory.
So an atom can be created but not destroyed.
Destroyed? Why not? If atom destroys, what will come? Electron, proton,
And what
neutron,
about
that
the
comes out.
what about the indestructible?
Indestructible means not destroyable.
Again, that's okay. But again, it gets destroyed, right, sir?
So here we are using an atom is no longer. No longer means you should not think like that. So Dalton's atomic theory is an atom is not destroyed. But here saying no longer. So don't consider like this. Say atom is destroyable and it is possible to make also an atom by combination of
Basically,
subatomic
atom
particles.
is destroyable.
Yeah, atom is destroyable.
Destroyable, okay.
Yeah, that's
Can
what
we
it
write
converts to
that
energy.
instead of this?
Okay, you can write.
Yeah.
Because in sometimes in competitive examination they are using this kind of terminologies. That's why. Okay, if you want in bracket, write an atom is destroyable. Right. Transmutation. The process of interconversion of element through change into atomic nuclei. Called transmutation. Completed, guys?
Yes, sir.
So next one is, it's completed, not Dalton's theory. Next one is Berzelius hypothesis. So here the scientist Berzelius correlated the Dalton's atomic, sorry, not Dalton's, law of multiple proportion, or Dalton's atomic theory, Dalton's law, and law of combining volumes. Don't write, listen. So he combined these two laws, Dalton's law and law of combining volumes. So here law of combining volume says different gases, they are combined through by volume or in simple ratio to one another. For example, H2 and O2, 2H2 plus O2 giving 2H2O. Here gases are combining by simple ratio of volumes, 2:1 only. 2 volumes of hydrogen combining with 1 volume of oxygen. So this is simple ratio by volume. Dalton's atomic theory says, so here atoms of different elements are combining and they are maintaining simple ratio by atoms. For example, C6H12O6. So 1:2:1 ratio, or carbon dioxide. Carbon and oxygens are combining in, not in mass, I am telling in terms of their numbers, number of carbons and oxygens. So 1:2 ratio. So the scientist Berzelius correlated these two, Dalton's atomic theory and law of combining volumes. So he given there is something relationship between the number of atoms and in a given volume of a substance. So finally, his hypothesis is same volume of all the gases contains the same number of atoms. Same volume of, or same volumes of all the gases having same number of atoms under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Okay. So listen here. Okay, if you want to write this statement, here I am taking same volume. No need to draw this diagram. Just listen. 1 liter of oxygen I am taking. Oxygen. And here taking 1 liter of nitrogen. And here taking 1 liter of carbon dioxide. I'm taking 3 gases, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Similar condition, temperature maintaining 25 degrees. This is also 25 degrees centigrade, 25 degrees centigrade. And pressure is 1 atmosphere. According to Berzelius hypothesis, suppose this one having 1 lakh oxygen molecules, 1 lakh oxygen atoms. Even this also having 1 lakh oxygen, 1 lakh nitrogen atoms.
So could
It's
you
also
repeat
having
once?
1 lakh carbon dioxide molecules. So Berzelius says same volume of all the gases having same number of atoms under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure. So if you say take equal volumes of different gases, those all gases have same number of atoms under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. That's called Berzelius hypothesis. So here I am taking 1 liter of oxygen, 1 liter of nitrogen, 1 liter of carbon dioxide. So according to him, I am taking same volume. 1 liter, 1 liter, 1 liter. Gases, I am taking different gas, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Under the similar conditions, temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, pressure is 1 atmosphere. Then according to him, this all having same number of particles. Suppose this having 1 lakh oxygen atoms, this also having 1 lakh nitrogen atom, this also have 1 lakh nitrogen, 1 lakh carbon atoms. So not carbon atoms, carbon dioxide atoms, according to Berzelius theory. But it is wrong. Further, this theory was cropped by Avogadro scientist. Okay, just note down this statement. Why it is wrong, I will explain you now.
So we did not have to draw that.
Hello?
We did not have to draw that.
No need to draw this, right? This statement is enough. Berzelius statement. So continuation, right? Avogadro. Cropped up as a result of Berzelius hypothesis. By clearing distinction between distinction between the two ultimate particles of matter, that is an atom and a molecule.
So, can you tell what does the first line of the second point mean?
Avogadro cropped up as a result of Berzelius hypothesis. So here Berzelius given hypothesis, right? So what is wrong here? That is corrected by Avogadro's. Cropped up, corrected, or rectified.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now see what is the difference between atom and molecule according to Avogadro's. Listen, so an atom is the smallest particle of matter which take parts in a chemical reaction, but it may or may not having independent existence. Yes, no, atoms, some atoms of element can exist independently, but some atoms of an element cannot exist independently. If you see noble gases, helium, neon, argon, krypton, and some metals like iron, copper, gold. So instead of this also, gold, silver, platinum. So these elements can exist independently, means they are not combining with any other elements. And some elements like oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, hydrogen, these atoms of an element cannot exist independently. So oxygen atom combining with another oxygen and then it is forming molecule, correct? Oxygen atom is not stable. Oxygen molecule is stable. Like nitrogen also. Nitrogen is not stable. Nitrogen molecule is stable. So he given a difference between the atom and molecule. So atom is a smallest particle of a matter which take part in a chemical reaction, but it may or may not exist independently. But molecule is smallest particle of a compound which having independent existence. Suppose you see water. Water is a compound. What is the compound smallest particle we are saying? Molecule is water, H2O molecule. So water is compound. Is compound. So ultimate particle of water is H2O. H2O only we are calling molecule. So molecule having independent existence, atom not having independent existence. This is only the difference between atom and molecule. Then further, he cropped up this Berzelius theory hypothesis. See, same volumes of all the gases having same number of molecules. Instead of atom, he used molecules. Same volume of all the gases having the same number of molecules under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure. That is called Avogadro's hypothesis. So see its explanation. This is 1 liter of oxygen. 1 liter of nitrogen. 1 liter of carbon dioxide. According to Berzelius theory, suppose this having 100 oxygen atoms. This also having 100 nitrogen atoms. This also having 100 combined atoms, all carbon and oxygens combinedly 100, sorry, okay, 100 atoms of carbon and oxygens. So this is according to Berzelius. But according to Avogadro, 1 liter of oxygen, it having 100 oxygen molecules. So 100 oxygen molecule means how many oxygen atoms are present here?
200.
Very good, 200. So oxygen means O2, it exists as O2. This is the stable form. O is not stable form, O2 is stable form. So it having 100 oxygen molecules. That means 200 oxygen atoms are present. Next, about this. He said 100 nitrogen atoms are present. But actually it having how many? Here having 100 nitrogen molecules. Then it having how many atoms?
300.
200. N2 no? 200 nitrogen atoms. But what about this? This also having 100 CO2 molecules. Then now how many atoms are present here? 100 CO2s. Means 100 carbons present, 200 oxygens are present. Total how many atoms present?
300 atoms.
300 atoms are present here. This is correct explanation. Avogadro's hypothesis is correct explanation. Berzelius' hypothesis is wrong because he did not use the term molecule. Everything he explained in terms of oxygens, atoms only. So that gives wrong numbers. And based on this Avogadro's hypothesis only developed mole concept also. Okay, now write Avogadro's hypothesis. So first write what is the difference between atom and molecule. An atom is the smallest particle of an element. Which can take part in a chemical reaction. It may or may not. It may or may not be capable of independent existence. A molecule is the smallest particle of an element or a compound. A compound which is capable of independent existence. Now his hypothesis is equal volumes of all the gases having same number of molecules under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure. If you want, here draw a diagram. 1 liter of O2, 1 liter of N2, 1 liter of carbon dioxide. Temperature, I'll take 0 degrees, okay, 0 degrees centigrade now. Maintain 10 degrees centigrade. This is also 10 degrees centigrade, 10 degrees centigrade. Pressure, 1 atmosphere.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, I have a doubt, like, if the masses, like atomic masses are not equal.
Atomic mass not equal.
So, like, how can the number of molecules be same? Like, it may differ, right?
No. Here, the volume occupied by the gas molecule is negligible. Okay, that's what it's not differ. Maybe mass differs, but volume not differs. Volume is same. Volume we are maintaining same, right? And it maintains same number of molecules also. That is universal existence.
I didn't get it, sir.
So you are telling mass of gas molecule is oxygen molecule mass is different, so carbon dioxide mass is different.
Yes,
so
sir.
how it will become same number, right?
Yes, sir.
So here I am not taking same mass. Here I am taking same volume.
Okay.
Same volume I am taking. Suppose you consider one box of carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide.
Okay.
Okay, volume is maintaining same, not masses. Mass must be different. This mass must be different, no doubt.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And write one more line here. Number of molecules, temperature, pressure, and downside number of molecules. number of molecule. Consider, suppose you consider here 1000, here also 1000, here also 1000. Or if you consider it is here 100, here also 100, here also 100. You consider it is 1 lakh, there also 1 lakh, 1 lakh. So you consider any number of molecules, but all must have same. So next is subheading atomic applications of Avogadro's law.
So
Yes.
then in this, like through this volume and temperature and pressure, here only Avogadro number comes, right?
Yeah. From here only mole concept, Avogadro number is generated.
So then how can you tell that the same number of molecules are also present? Like
We are
when you
taking
use
same
that.
volume, no? Okay, hello?
Yeah.
We are using same volume, right?
Yeah.
And the same conditions. That's what it having, same number of molecules. So from this only Avogadro number, we are saying no 6.023 into 10 power 23.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that number also given based on this concept only. But there we are not taking 1 liter, there we are taking 22.4 liters. At 0 degree centigrade.
Okay. So for that there is a fixed number, fixed amount of
Here it
volume.
having this much volume, and the temperature also 0 degree centigrade. Pressure is 1 atmospheric pressure. At this condition, it having Avogadro number of particles 6.023 into 10 power 23. That is only equal to atomic molar mass of a molecule also. Yes.
So actually, in 1 liter, the number of molecules is equal to Avogadro number by 22.4 liters, no, sir?
Yeah, but the conditions is different, I give, right? It will changes.
So by how much factor it will change, sir?
The temperature factor. If temperature changes, the number of particles also changes. There we have to use gas laws. PV is equal to nRT, ideal gas equation. We need to apply this formula, then it changes. Number of particles present in given volume we can calculate.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir,
about this I will teach you in states of matter. We have one full chapter about this. PV is equal to nRT. Yes, tell me.
Sir, if it was volume, then it would be centimeter cube or meter cube, right? Why liters?
Volume is?
It should be centimeter cube or meter cube.
Yeah, correct. 1 liter means 1 liter is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, we are taking this relation. Okay, you're correct. We're mostly using this one liters we are using. In chemistry relation, we are using centimeter cube also. Meter cube, centimeter cubes also.
Okay, sir.
You guys completed? So next class I will tell you what is applications of Avogadro's law.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
day is that no? Physics chapter.